1. Apparent miracles of life force. The frame of a car is built with iron and steel. Its tires are composed of rubber. Seat covers are made with synthetic material and windows are provided with glass. Nevertheless, its forward, backward, and rotary motion depends upon that energy which is generated by ignition of fuel, current supplied by battery, dynamo, etc. It is this energy which is responsible for the entire operation of a motor vehicle. When fuel is exhausted or the battery becomes defunct, one reconciles to the situation in which, irrespective of any change in its shape, size, and machinery, the vehicle cannot be made mobile. The structure of human body is also like a motor car. Apparently, it is composed of flesh, bones, blood, and skin. But for all of its external and internal activities, it depends upon the current of bioelectricity, pran vidyut. The moment life force dissipates, in no time the most robust body becomes a corpse. When the heart stops beating, man is immediately pronounced dead, and a necessity is felt for cremation or burial of body, which only a few moments earlier was intensely active. Unless arrangements for its disposal are made, within a very short time the body by itself adopts a process of decay and ruination. Vultures, eagles, dogs and jackals who otherwise avoid contact with living man smell a corpse from far away and rush forth to devour it speedily. Apparently, the human body operates through its external sense organs of locomotion, nose, ears, etc. Whereas life of human being is in fact dependent on his internal energy, which is known as invisible energy, life force, Jeevni Shakti, Pran Vidyut, bioelectricity, etc. This very energy is the governess of life and its various activities. The equilibrium of health, zeal, courage, and industry of man depends on this energy only. An individual fully charged with this energy is found excelling in all fields of activity. On the other hand, continuous depletion of its strength, voltage, and charge, amperage, or distortions in its attributes make a person susceptible to not only physical but also psychosomatic disorders. Medical practitioners diagnose and prescribe for treatments of diseases and convalescence according to their respective disciplines. A Vaidya, one who practices Ayurveda, considers disturbances in the equilibrium of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha as the reason for physical disorders. Hakims, a physician of Unani treatment, tries to find the cause of the disease in the nature of Adhi, Vadhi, and Upadhi. The homeopath seeks alleviation by counteracting the pollutants of the system through another pollutant administered in infinitesimally small doses. The biochemist sees the cause of ailment in depletion of quantity of certain chemicals in the body. Chromopathy relates physical disorders to disequilibrium of colors in the system. Allopaths regard attack by germs, bacteria, and virus responsible for all diseases. Depending on diagnosis, treatment is carried out with the help of antibiotic and immunizing drugs. All these systems of treatment attempt to work like performance of magic shows or a miracle in which the results become instantaneously visible. Nowadays, society is flooded with specialists in medicine. In this context, the little we talk about the quacks bragging about their experience, the better it would be. In comparison to other industries, each day one finds emergence of a larger number of new government hospitals, private clinics and chemists and druggists' shops. At the same time, the number of patients is also increasing so fast that one begins to wonder whether there are any communities of human beings left in this world who could be considered free of any ailment whatsoever. Medical treatments have today assumed the form of temporary miracles which lose their efficacy within a short time. The patient is found knocking at the doors of one physician after another throughout his life. The medical practitioners, too, are not happy with this state of affairs. Discarding the older drugs in use, they are always found looking for newer ones and enthusiastically beat drums and blow trumpets of the efficacy of new inventions. The situation, however, does not change and continues to be as grave as earlier. Successive surveys unanimously indicate that experts in the fields of medicine are confounded by the fast appearance of new types of diseases and consequential increase in the number of patients. But instead of accepting the inadequacy of disciplines of existing medical sciences, they are attempting to seek excuses in factors like appearance of more powerful indefensible bacteria and virus, unprecedented changes in weather and indisciplined way of living by the patients. In the old days, man suffered from very few and simple ailments like fever, sore throat, irregularity of bowel movement, etc. Today, one finds a detailed, elaborate classification of diseases. Besides, the present ailments are much more tormenting. The high tide of diseases like asthma, ulcers, diabetes, and other serious ailments such as AIDS and cancer does not appear subsiding. Each expectation for the low tide ends in despair. Constipation, respiratory disorders, insomnia are spreading fast like new fashions. In order to seek an excuse for their inability to find permanent cures, as well as to keep in business, the medical practitioners are camouflaging their inefficiency by showmanship and prescriptions for immunity against diseases. While the fast advancements in medical research are unable to give a permanent assurance of protection against diseases to the common man, an understanding of this dilemma requires somewhat deeper contemplation. Today or tomorrow, man is going to reach the ultimate conclusion that life force of man is depleting fast and making him more and more vulnerable to diseases. The situation is in fact pitiable. Strange it may seem, but the patient himself is to be blamed for criminal negligence of his own self, or at least considered unfortunate for his ignorance of same. Throughout his life, he often remains unaware of the real advantages of human life and fruits of progress. The situation is grave, particularly because of the mass pervasion of serious or mild ailments in the entire human race. It would not be illogical to ascribe the root cause of all types of infirmity, inadequacy of physical development, or disease to weakness, depletion and distortions of the life force inherent in man. This is the process which is making man weaker day by day. Indisposition and disease are the biggest problems confronting modern man. Because of them, one is always dependent on others and finds it difficult to make any endeavor for progress in any field for any fruitful objective. How is it possible for one who is dependent on others' assistance and is not self-sufficient to charter his own course in life? Whether or not one appreciates the truth of this statement, absence of zest for life in man is the most unfortunate factor because of which he, undoubtedly, lives as a half-dead person, if not like a moving corpse. Though apparently without any infirmity, the body of such a person loses efficacy of action, agility, and becomes devoid of any distinctive personality. In spite of mental competence, he finds it difficult to solve his problems. His desires and efforts for success do not produce any results. All this happens because of a single constraint. The person lacks in that intensity and proportion of the energy of life force in him, which generates pleasure, exuberance, competence, and success. Whatever be the apparent physical reasons for weakness of body, disease, despondency, and mental perturbation, the fact remains that these are consequences of depletion of life force in man. Until an attempt is made to identify the root of this problem and means are found to eradicate it, one would not find it possible to get rid of the wide range of ailments from physical weakness to psychosomatic disorders. Seeking alleviation elsewhere would only mean creating a distraction for momentary relief only. Human life is not meant for activities of body and mind for routine activities only. It also necessitates confrontation with problems at each moment and finding one's own way to personal progress. For this, one feels helpless in absence of adequate energy and competence and feels confused and defeated. In absence of adequate internal energy, man is forced to lead a mechanical life. Without any fruitful output, he finds himself working like an automated mechanical device pumping air in and out, consuming raw materials, and disposing of effluents in a monotonous repetitive cycle. Like ghosts and spirits in the cemetery, such a person either lives timidly within the narrow confines of his small world or is ever engaged in interfering with and creating problems for others as well as for one's own self. Who would consider such a living graceful for a human being who has been provided by God with so many extraordinary capabilities and sent to this world as the prince of this creation? He must make some such endeavor contributory to the process of improvement of one's own self and progress of society, which could create a healthy environment and opportunities for progress and command respect worthy of emulation and praise by others. However, such progressive endeavor for any field of human activity will not be feasible without the help of the internal energy referred to earlier. It is only this energy which results in appearance of personal magnetism, ojas, sharpness of mental faculties, tejas, and appearance of zeal for promotion of ideals, virchas, in man and creates an environment for progressive augmentation of these virtues. There are three facets of each human existence, namely body, mind, and the inner self. In parlance of spirituality, these are known as physical, sthul, astral, sukshma, and causal, karan, bodies, sharirs. The motive power governing these three forms of body has been known as pranagni, logos, bioelectricity, jeevni shakti, etc. The components of this power related to the above three forms of body are known as ojas, tejas, and varchas. Perfect health indicates only the normal equilibrium of these three attributes. The process of maintenance of this equilibrium itself is known as preservation of health, development of competence, building a strong body, etc. Proper utilization of this motivating power results in emergence of talents in the person. Degradation, maintenance, or enhancement of efficacy of this energy is totally in the hands of man himself. This process is totally independent of any external influence. Fate, heredity, banes, or boons do not interfere in this process. Deeds of previous life cycles at the most reflect in present life as happiness or unhappiness. Talented persons make use even of their adversity as a base for their progress, whereas an indolent and procrastinating person uses his prosperity for his own degradation only. Courage continues the process of development of life force unabated in either case. The bioelectricity is the fountainhead of perfect health. This is the energy found operating in veins, arteries, muscles, and biological cells. The immunological system works through this very energy. This is in fact the tonic for invigorating the system. Excellence of mental faculties like intelligence, farsightedness, and sagacity are only miracles of this energy. This is the energy found motivating elites, courageous persons, scientists, artists, and men and women possessing extraordinary talents. In human heart it appears as piety, empathy. The grace of this energy is seen in acts of compassion, tolerance, and commendable idealistic pursuits. A depletion of this energy results in frequent illness, and the person finds himself helpless, always in distress and suffering from all sorts of physical and psychosomatic disorders. A reduction in the potency of this energy in mind is reflected as disorderliness of behavior, indiscipline, lack of civility, imbecility, and mediocrity. On account of his below average mental capacity, such a person frequently commits mistakes and falls a victim to misunderstandings. His works and deeds are not becoming of a civilized person. Those having lack of this life force in the inner self tend to become harsh, inconsiderate, sadists, unemotional, and selfish. Such persons are mean and are frequently found being insulted, ridiculed for their uncivilized behavior. Deficiency of this life force in a person results in commensurate incapacitation, backwardness, poverty, and deprivations. It is unfortunate that while being fully aware of the body, man is neither able to evaluate the invisible life force governing its activities nor appreciate its significance. One hardly thinks about the energy operating behind healthy muscles in human body. Is it possible to operate any electrical equipment, however costly or attractive it may be, without the help of electric current? Similarly, depletion of life force in a person seriously disturbs the functions of body, mind, and inner self, particularly resulting in chronic physical disorders. This is the bane of modern society.